As you can see in the worksheet for trig questions with no calculator, most of the time when you're expected to find a trig ratio, it's of a multiple of pi on 2, meaning that it's either 0, pi on 2, pi 1.5, or 3 on 2 pi, or 2 pi. Okay, so typically one of the angles that end on one of the axes. So I need to use the unit circle to find basically all of these values, noting that cosine is the x-coordinate on the unit circle and sine is the y-coordinate. Okay, and we also know that tan is the y-coordinate divided by the x-coordinate. Okay, because we know that y is sine and x is cosine, and we've got that identity. Okay, so if I want to find cosine 0, really just going to the angle 0 and looking at the x-coordinate, it's 1, so the value of cosine 0 is 1. That's pretty much all we're doing. Cosine of 2 pi, I'm at the angle 2 pi, looking at the x-coordinate, it's 0. Cosine of pi, I'm at the angle pi around here, pi radians, looking at the x-coordinate, it's negative 1. Cosine of 3 pi on 2, I'm down here at the bottom, 3 pi on 2, looking at the x-coordinate on the unit circle, it's 0, and cosine of 2 pi, I'm back at the start, looking at that x-coordinate of 1. Okay, so nothing too bad so far. Looking at some sine ratios, sine of 0, looking at the y-coordinate at 0 radians, it's 0, sine of pi, so I'm at pi radians, looking at the y-coordinate, it's also 0. And here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. So tan of 0, so I'm looking at this point on the unit circle, looking at the y-coordinate divided by the x-coordinate, 0 divided by 1 it gives me 0. And tan pi on 2, I'm up here at pi on 2, looking at y-coordinate divided by x-coordinate, 1 divided by 0. If I have $1 and share it between 0 people, that question doesn't really make any sense. So this is actually undefined. And tan of pi, I'm here again at 0 divided by minus 1, 0. So that's all we need to do for unit circle in most cases, non-calculator. There's 2 other videos looking at some slightly more complicated scenarios.